I can identify fractions. So fractions describe part or parts of a whole. You usually have your part on top, your whole on, well, you always have your part on top, your whole on the bottom. It's called your numerator or your denominator, sometimes represented by A over B. That's how you write a fraction. When we talk about fractions, sometimes you'll hear someone refer to a unit fraction. Well, unit fraction is a fraction identifying just one part of a whole or one unit. So it's going to be 1 over b. The numerator is always going to be 1 in a unit fraction, and then your denominator could be any number. So 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5, 1/17, 1/34, whatever. That would be a unit fraction, where your numerator is just 1, and it's just talking about one single part of the whole. Now, you're going to see fractions in 3 ways. You might see it in standard, improper, or a mixed number. Now, what this means is you still have a fraction where you have a numerator or denominator in standard form. This is the way you'll see it most of the time. And these are usually when you have less, this is when you have less than a whole. So 1/3, I would shade in one of these 3 parts. Now, in a fraction, it is supposed to be equal parts. I drew these by hand, so they're not perfectly equal, but your parts of the whole are to be equal parts in order for it to be a fraction. This would be standard, 1/3. But then you have improper, where your numerator is bigger than your denominator. That means that you're larger than a whole. So for this case, I have 4/3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it would be 4/3 would be improper. However, mixed numbers is the proper way to write improper fractions. These are called improper because that's not the official way to write them, although you will see them written this way. The proper way is to write it in a mixed number. So this is 1 whole, so I color in all 3 in a whole circle, and then I do 1/3. Which, if you look at the pictures, I have the same amount shaded in as 1/3 and 4/3. So those are actually equivalent, but this is how you write it as a mixed number. This is how you write it as an improper fraction. Let's go over a problem. Bud planted seeds in the shaded parts of his garden. How much of his garden is not planted? So for this, I wanted to show you how you could draw fractions. This one, I wanted 7 parts to the garden, so I would draw this like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Try to make them as equal as possible. And then I had shaded in 3 of those parts. 1, 2, 3. Now, the shaded part of the garden is the part that's planted. So shaded would be 1, 2, 3 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So your numerator is 3, and this is also your planted, and your denominator is 7. So planted is 3/7 of the garden. However, it wants to know how much is not planted. So in that case, not shaded, 1, 2, 3, 4 is my numerator. My denominator is still going to be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4/7. And that would be the not planted. So the answer to the question would be 4/7 is not planted. I can identify fractions. Avery ate the shaded part of the pizza. How much did she eat? Again, for this one, I'm going to show you how to split up this into equal parts. The first thing I would do is you're going to split it in half, and then you split it in half again. I know 4 equal parts, but for this case I wanted 8. So then I go down through the diagonal middle and the middle. Notice it's not perfect. And the shaded part for this one is going to be here. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about it because I want you to solve this one and try to figure out how much of this is shaded. What fraction is represented by the shaded part? How much pizza did Avery eat?